good evening, and welcome everyone tuning in to the hashtag Stories of Healing podcast, episode 5. The focus of the podcast is to share a story and dive into the healing process within that challenging time in life. The story can be about pain, struggle, anxiety, depression, a heartbreak, loss of employment, trauma, or any specific challenge that brought a tough experience to overcome. Stories of Healing is here to inspire, motivate, help others lift and rise up through their past or present struggles by listening in and connecting with the special guest who tunes into sharing their story of healing and how they overcame their battle. What was their healing process? That being said, good evening and welcome everyone. Today's special guest is transformational mindset coach, streaming live all the way from our hometown, Thunder Bay, Amanda KAINULA.
Hey, how's it
What's
going,
up?
buddy?
Good. Amanda helps young women step out of their comfort zone and into alignment with who they truly are so they can live an authentic life as the best version of themselves. Incredible. Welcome, Amanda. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be here. I couldn't be happier that you reached out and asked me to get on this podcast. I'm really looking forward to it.
I appreciate you, and I'm so thankful to have you on our show. You're an amazing person. You know, we've been friends since high school, and you know, I saw that you reached out to the community and to the world, and want to share a bit about, you know, some healing and in your resilience. And it was a perfect time, you know, where I was launching this, and it's amazing how no matter you know, where we are in life, you know, where we're living in life, when you have a connection with a good friend, and sometimes things bring us together, and here we are connecting on this show, and I'm just like so excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm inspired, especially with our story that you shared prior to coming on. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from. Well, we know you're from T-Bay, but
yeah, T-Bay, born and raised.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm doing well. I just moved back from Ottawa, where you are, just a few months ago officially. So that was a bit of a turning point for me. I'm happy to be home, happy to be with my family, and
Nice.
Yeah, it's been really good. I got my dog around me 24/7, so I couldn't be happier, to be honest. He makes my day.
Hey, man or woman's best friend, you know, dogs are awesome. I love dogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. Like no matter where we go to, I notice like for my experience, you know, when you leave your hometown, when you come back and you connect with your family, it just like brings a whole nother, you know, fulfillment in your life. You're with your circle, you know, and you can grow and continue growing, which is
100%.
amazing. So that's awesome that you're back and you're doing well. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready when you are. Yeah.
All right. So it's time to share a story of healing. What is your story of which brought you a life challenge or struggle?
Yeah. So I think it goes back to 2014. So in my early 20s, it was a very life change. It was a tough year for me. I was in my field as a dental hygienist. I wasn't fulfilled. I was I just felt kind of lost, you know? Things just kind of took a turn. I was in a long distance relationship, and that was also pretty tough. So I just felt lost. Things kind of slowly started to spiral. And I was seeing a psychologist, and I saw my doctor, and that was when I officially got diagnosed with anxiety. And it was more like for me, it was a situational depression. So just whenever something pretty intense or drastic would come up for me, things would just kind of spiral, you know, like my anxiety would get the best of me and I would kind of lose control. And I felt pretty alone, you know, like I wasn't sure if people would really understand. I didn't even really understand it. It was just really uncomfortable for me. So I kind of isolated myself, and I, you know, kind of hid at home, and I didn't really want to be around people. It was pretty tough. So the psychologist I was working with, she asked me a lot of questions about my childhood and about, you know, my circle when I was young and my family and my upbringing and this and that. And a lot of stuff that was kind of coming up for me was, I think, based around the people I was surrounding myself with. And I think what it came down to was me just being not being true to who I was. And it was really like I was in a place where I was very inauthentic and I just couldn't be myself, and I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And, you know, I was in a place where I was like kind of envious of a lot of people around me and kind of jealous of like the things they had, or even the looks. Like I was the dorky girl with big round glasses, and you know, I was rocking Northern Getaway clothes, and yeah, I don't know, I mean, who wasn't kind of teased and made fun of as a kid? But you know,
True.
being the person I am, I'm sensitive, and I always kind of thought that was a bad thing. And yeah, so I was pretty hard on myself about it. And yeah, I guess um, it just really affected me. And, you know, I had a lot of insecurities, more than I guess I care to admit. So it caused me to just be very, you know, reserved, very quiet, very shy, very uncomfortable. And I thought that was who I was, you know. I was even that way around a lot of my family. Like I just thought that was normal for me. And yeah, so um going back to when I was in dental hygiene, I knew something had to change. So my doctor prescribed me medication, and that really got me above water.
Mm.
That helped me at the time. Um, and then I had moved to Ottawa for the first time. We're going on 3 times. But yeah, things got a lot better. Like when I started making changes in my reality, of like in terms of, you know, my work, my relationships, just certain things that weren't serving me or helping me feel good inside, I changed. And so yeah, I was living in Ottawa for a while, and it was just throughout the past, well, I mean, I guess up until recently, it was up and down, just like I didn't know what was going on with me. And I think I got to a point where I was like, I don't think medication is the answer for me, but I
Mhm.
really needed to just do some deep inner healing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so when I moved back, or just before I moved back, my friend Megan introduced me to a life coach here in town. And that was when things really changed for me. It was a lot of healing, a lot of inner work that I didn't realize I needed to do all these years, and a lot of things that I needed to bring up to the surface and kind of, yeah, heal from and grow from. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It's
Mm-hmm.
very powerful that, you know, when we go through our upbringing and trying to figure out who we are and trying to learn about, you know, what's best for us and not what's around us and the environment that's around us. It even brings just more self-healing when we start to focus on that authenticity or the trueness of ourselves. I can totally relate to that too. I feel like there was a time in my life where, a piece of me, wanted to be more than I was. But if I was focusing on like, not focusing on myself and, the people around me in my circle, whether it's friends, at school, or whether it's, what you see in the media, it does create this anxiety and this insecurity, which it did for me. um it's amazing that you reached out for a life coach. I think that's super awesome. That's being brave, that's being courageous, and reaching out for a positive outlet. I believe that there are medications out there that help people, um but I also believe that humans can help humans, um
Absolutely.
holistically, just by being positive, a mentor, providing wisdom through insight and experiences and stories. So the fact that you
Mhm.
even reached out to a life coach, and we'll get more into what you're doing today, but like that's amazing. um
Thank you.
Going back into those heavy dark times where you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling insecurities, and you didn't feel like your true self, and you're bouncing back between cities, and you know was there any other like feelings of emotions, or things that really affected you as well, or were those like the main two, like anxiety and insecurities?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, I just felt really alone.
Mm,
I didn't really know who to talk to, or I didn't know who I could really relate to that would maybe understand, or maybe I was just, I think I was getting in my own way a lot and I was afraid.
mm-hmm.
A lot of it came down to me having a fear of being judged.
Okay.
And a lot of this life coaching stuff, what I really needed to work on the most was my own self love. That was
Mm,
the biggest uh, factor, is me growing and learning to love who I am and, not be ashamed of who I am, like being sensitive, being a goofball, being like,
yeah,
like we
yeah.
all have that side. Um, we all have different sides and aspects of us. And yeah, I just, I wanted to feel safe. And so being able to, yeah, find like-minded people and find like a coach who can help me kind of tap into my higher consciousness, not to get all woo-woo
Like your
or
inner self,
granola or
your inner self.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge for me because I was never really like spirituality never really resonated with me until just a few months ago.
Mm,
And it's incredible work, to be honest. It's been life-changing for me.
amazing.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. I think it's remarkable that sometimes in life we get in the way of our own destiny, our own healing, and sometimes it's just like that self-love, like just appreciating who we are truly to ourselves. Sometimes just brings that much more fulfillment, that much more insight and openness to who we are, and which will create, less fear, less of anxiety about who cares what people think, and that judgment is because, what, I love who I am.
Yeah.
um I could walk down the street and someone can call me a name, or hurt me in the back, whatever. But I believe that when you love for who you are humbly and genuinely, and that also creates fearlessness, courageousness, bravery, which you did to reach out, and now you're on this path. um that's amazing. I think that's like so cool that yeah, it
Mhm.
just started with self-love and finding your true self. And during that time, going back into that heavy time, um let's say before you reached out for medication or before you reached out for the life coach, were there any things that you were trying to do on your own to keep yourself healthy? Like at the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. I mean, I always tried my best to stay active. I mean, yeah, up until this day, like it's always been that natural dose of an antidepressant or like it gets those chemicals going in your brain that you need to feel good, you know?
Mm-hmm. For,
So that was a huge one. Definitely like I've been into meditating like quite a bit. That really grounds me and helps, just helps me to relax and calm the nerves in yeah. Um so yeah, that's been huge for me. And a big one for me, um learning to say no, because
mm,
I think in a lot of cases throughout my life I've said yes when I really meant no. And I didn't know how to set boundaries for myself. So me being the person who I am, um, I always put other people before myself. And I was always a people pleaser and I had a hard time saying no to people. But the anxiety it's probably caused me for years is it's not worth it, like you have to protect yourself and put yourself first. Like my own mental well-being is my number one priority and always will be from here on out.
mm-hmm.
So
You
yeah.
know, it's amazing that when you focus on yourself and take care of your health, mentally, especially mentally, and then they got physically, spiritually, emotionally. So when you're taking care of yourself with those four elements, that create our entire health system for us in our lives,
Mm,
we become better people for the people around us. So when you
100%.
mentioned that, in my experience too, and what I've seen in the world, sometimes, yeah, when we're growing up, and we want to be people pleasers, or we're trying our best to put everyone else on the pedestal, and and do what we can, but we're not really focusing on us.
Mhm.
But the moment that we start focusing on us and growing in our own personal development and our own self-love, we will create more love and inspiration and motivation in other people's lives in our circle, because they're like, wow, this person is like full of love and energy, and like
Yeah,
they radiate to that and they attract to that. So that's awesome. Thank you for
absolutely.
sharing that. Like I think that's such a good piece of wisdom and healing to share the for the people tuning in, especially our young ones too, like what's going on right now in the media and the world. Like there's so much that they have access to. Um and I think that as people and young people, I feel like they need a lot more mentorship and coaching around and motivation around, like just focus on you first, on your love first, and focus on you know who you are truly, and everything
Yeah,
else will come together down the road. Like everything really truly
abs-
will.
absolutely.
So I appreciate you sharing that. um
Of
you
course.
kind of mentioned you kind of mentioned my next question and answered in a little bit of ways, but maybe we can dive in. There's like a little bit more to it, but I was gonna ask, what was the hardest thing to let go of to help push yourself forward in your healing process? So you did mention that you were like, I was done with saying no, or you were tired of saying yes to everybody, so you decided, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna
Mhm.
focus on me. Was there anything else, or was that like the main bread and butter for letting go of what you were going through?
I mean, yeah, that along with like setting boundaries, I think, like I said before,
Hmm.
for myself and just being careful who I like protecting my energy, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Being around people that, you know, bring out the best in me. And, it's hard to want to give and help other people, but it's one thing to like have your tank emptied and
Mm-hmm.
not being filled, you know? So I was just being careful with who I was sharing my energy with. And I mean, some friendships even drifted, and it breaks my heart. And I mean, I hope that at the end of the day, like down the road, things will, people will reconnect. But I mean, sometimes you just have to let things go peacefully and love from afar and
Mm-hmm.
do what you have to do for yourself. And yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, this being true to who I am and living authentically the way I am now has allowed me to connect with so many incredible people throughout this journey. You
Nice.
included. Like, look at how you and I reconnected. Like,
Yeah, it's amazing.
it's
I'm
incredible.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I can see the confidence, the energy you have in your confidence of like your trueness and your
Aw.
authentic self. It's like it's vibrating, you know, just like seeing you right now and telling your story. And I think people listening in and tuning in, you know, after to see a recap video, you know, it's these are the kind of stories that people need to hear, especially if they're going through something in life right now, where because right now in our world there's always going to be judgment, there's always
Yeah,
going to be constant judgment, there's always going to be like that push to try to be someone that you're not. You know, and you see it in everywhere, you see it in music, you see it in movies, you see it
yeah.
on the news. So for you to share your story and to talk and teach about an experience, to be your true self-love, like that's a vision, that's a visionary, you're a visionary, you're a coach. I can't wait to get more into this, what you're doing now.
Me
But
too.
um amazing. I was gonna ask, you know, how did you overcome this challenge or struggle that you're going through? You went to go get some medication, which helped, you know, that short term, but then you got the life coach, was like the, you know, that big channel. Was there anything else that you can think of that was like a little bit of an additional avenue or channel or outlet, you can say, or solution that helped you overcome um, everything that you were going through?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if you've ever heard of Reiki healing. So
No, no, I haven't.
this is you'd probably like this. It's a bit more spiritual. It's more tapping into energy. So
Okay.
yeah, I went to see a Reiki healer and it was incredible. I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of had an idea, but a lot of it involved healing with crystals and healing and tapping into your chakras. So it's
Okay.
basically the healer uses their hands and the energy within them to kind of see, I guess, which chakra is out of alignment. So you've got, yeah, like I can't remember exactly how many chakras there are, but
Hmm.
starting from the crown of your head to the base of your
Right,
spine, you've got all your
right.
chakras.
Yes.
And yeah, so you kind of, they help you figure out what's in alignment and what's out of alignment. And
What one was out of alignment? I'm curious.
my heart, that was a
Oh,
huge
wow.
one. But
Okay. Wow.
I think, yeah, that one and my throat chakra.
Okay.
So going back to, yeah, my childhood and me being very shy and quiet and introverted,
Hmm.
I didn't really have a voice for a very long time. I thought that was just, me, just the quiet girl that I am, but that's not true at all. I think it's
Hmm.
just all in who you surround yourself with and who you feel comfortable with because yeah,
So now
I've
you have a
been,
big heart and a big voice, and you're ready to go.
yeah, I just want to connect with people. That's what,
Yeah.
like, what else are we here on earth for? Like,
Hmm.
I have so much love to give, and I just want to be surrounded by people that bring out the best in me and that I can connect with and feel comfortable with and be myself. That's what it's all about. So, Yeah, the
That's
Reiki
really neat.
healing.
The Reiki
Yeah,
healing. Interesting. For anyone
yeah.
tuning in and you need some Reiki done, you know where to go.
I mean, I'm no Reiki
Yo,
healer, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
could be in
No,
my
true,
future. Who
true.
knows?
You can
But I'll.
you can divert that path.
Oh
That's
yeah.
interesting. That's very interesting. I've heard now when you mentioned about like how it starts from the top to the bottom, and I do now recall seeing a visual of that. Whether it could have been in a book or online, but
Okay.
I'm gonna be very interested to check this out just to
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
Very cool. I think that's very interesting. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, if so, what would you do differently to overcome what you went through?
Oh.
So besides, let's say you know you didn't have education, you didn't have a life coach. Let's say you didn't have this healer, um, or you needed something even more to motivate you to focus on your true self. Or maybe, yeah, was there anything that you would have done differently? Maybe reach out sooner during that time that you were feeling. It could, could be
Hmm.
is there anything?
That's a great question. I mean, I think for me, if I could go back, I wish I trusted my intuition more.
Mm,
I wish I really tapped into that and was able to make decisions for myself based on what I knew was the best for my own well-being. And I mean, I can't turn back time, and I wouldn't change any of what I went through for anything in the world, because it's made me appreciate where I'm at now. But yeah, I mean, there were times where I thought back and I was like, you know what? I should have trusted my gut. I should have listened to, what I knew was true for me, instead of like, I'm one to make rash decisions. And I thought that was to a fault. But I also realized that, okay, so if I make a drastic change and in hopes that I'll feel better, or that, like, say me moving to Ottawa, maybe I'll feel better, or maybe changing jobs, maybe doing this. But I realized that no matter where I go, my mind follows.
mm,
So I read this quote. I love quotes. Like, so many resonated with me throughout this. But there was one that was like, you can drink your water, exercise, take your vitamins and supplements, but if you don't do the inner work and, fix your mindset and your heart, then you're still going to be unhealthy. So,
that's
yeah,
true. I
yeah,
agree. I agree. We can take anything externally, but if you're not starting within yourself,
yeah,
you're just kind of going in a cycle.
exactly.
Thank you
So,
for sharing that.
yeah, of
That's
course.
your story is so resilient, and we're friends and we've known each other for a long time, and to hear that you've went through something like this in your life and to see where you are today, and to hear this, and even just having like this bravery and this resilience to come on the show and share your story and reach out. Like, I think that's so cool, and I'm so proud of you, like I mentioned already. And
Aw,
I'm happy for the things that you're doing right now, and what you plan on doing. So we got
thank
into the
you.
story. I now what is Amanda Kainula, transformational mindset coach, doing today? What are you focusing on today? What's your goal in life with the vision that you have?
I love that. My goal is to just be able to help people feel like they're heard and they're loved and they're not alone. I want people to, I just want to give back. And I remember being in the car with a friend a few years ago, and I said, like, this situation I'm going through, like, these hard times are exactly what I need, because one day I'm going to help other people overcome their
Nice.
struggles. I knew it and I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I'm so happy I'm here. And yeah, I really want to help people change their lives.
So everyone that's listening in, Amanda's here to help you change your life. So if you are going through something, whether it's you're kind of lost in your authentic self, you're kind of lost maybe in what's going on in the world today with a lot of, you mentioned, I want to go back. You mentioned something about loneliness, and that you felt alone. And I will share my story very soon onto the show of why I started #StoriesOfHealing podcast. And it goes about a little bit of loneliness, but loneliness is, I find, one of the most dangerous things that can happen in our lives, and we have friends and family in our lives sometimes, that are there for us, that support us, but sometimes that isn't even enough, and there's something in us, in our heart, in our mind that isn't connecting. And if it creates that loneliness, you could really fall into this like dark hole, this trap, this dark place mentally. It starts to stimulate depression. It starts to stimulate anxiety, that unknown of, am I always going to feel this way?
Yeah.
So, I can tell just from your energy, you ain't alone today. You got
No
your dog,
way,
you got
man.
your family, you got your life coach, you got myself, you got the people around you and that are supporting you today and with your passion. And so people that are tuning in, I just want to do a quick little shout out. If you have Instagram, please check out Amanda Kainula's Instagram at @Kains. Amanda, if you want to connect with Amanda and you're going through something right now, or you haven't even let go of something in your past and you need some sort of push and you want to dive more into some insight and some wisdom and some story, and Amanda's working right now with an awesome life coach. You can even, if you want to name drop her right now, if that's cool
Of
or not.
course.
Let's
Yeah. Well,
spread some love.
I've worked with two. So I
Okay.
worked with Terry Guillemi.
Okay.
That's who Megan Nadine introduced me to. Shout out to Megan too.
Shout out to
Love that
Megan
girl.
Nadine.
Oh,
Megan
love
Nadine.
her. Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to Megan. She's amazing. She's doing awesome work with her music. Shout out to
Oh
Terry.
yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Terry.
And Sam Roberto. Yeah,
Sam Roberto. Shout out.
she's incredible.
That's awesome. It's really cool how
Yeah.
we can have friends in our life and they see something that may not be right, and they're like, hey, I know someone that can help you. And sometimes it's nice when it's like not too clinical. Sometimes it's nice when it's not too like systematic. It's
Mhm.
just someone who has a passion that you may even be interested in, which you are. So you're like, yeah, I want to reach out to a life coach because this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool
100%.
how that works in life. We meet people at the right time.
Yeah.
And we have friends in our lives who matter and count. And, that's amazing that Megan directed you that way. And, that's incredible. That's
Yeah.
love. That's family. If she's your sister,
Oh yeah.
that's really cool.
100%. Yeah, the universe just allows things to fall into place naturally, when you're on that
Hmm.
path and when you're on that journey of personal growth and healing and just self-love. Yeah, everything kind of manifests on its own. It's incredible.
I agree. The universe will bring us together as long as our heart
Yeah.
and our mind are connected and you're focusing on pushing yourself towards that vision of doing right in the world, doing right for our community and for the people in our lives. And I feel like those good things will start to grow and grow. And like, you can see the smiles in your face right now, the energy. Like, I know you're gonna be okay. Yeah, we might get through some more challenges in this next year or so with what's going on in the world, but when we take care of ourselves, we're gonna be have a stronger wall, and not a wall I mean to deflect, but a wall to protect us from evil and negative energy,
Yeah.
but have that open door for positivity and love and
Mhm.
growth and personal development. um And so I just feel like inspired and motivated right now, so this is really awesome. I wanted to
Amazing.
ask if there's anything that you could say right now to young women or young men that are going to tune in or watch our recap videos, or even anyone that's listening. It doesn't have to be young or old, but anyone that's listening in. Is there any words of wisdom from transformational mindset coach Amanda KAINULA here?
Trying to put me on the spot here.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just
Of
just
course.
from the heart. Is there anything
Of
that you'd like to
course.
share? Any words of inspiration?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I think it's important to know that, if anyone's struggling, like, you're not alone. And there's people out there that are here to help and here to support you. It's all about having a support system, and yeah, just always giving love, it all comes down to love. That's what brings the world joy and peace, and like that's what we're here for, is to just have each other's backs and love one another. It's not to be cheesy, but I've grown up in a family where I was spoiled with love. Like we didn't have a ton of money, and I didn't need that. All I needed was the love that I was given, and all I can do is give it back,
That's amazing. Thank you. Love is so powerful.
It is.
And you're right. The world needs it.
Yeah.
And the world needs more of it. Thank you, Amanda.
Absolutely. Thank you
Everyone
so
that's
much,
listening
Jake.
in. Yeah, of course. I support you. I support all my friends. I support everyone, that comes on the show, and everyone in the session, and a gift and an experience, and even a struggle, and we all go through our life challenges, and it's how we overcome those. It's how we become stronger within ourselves, and how do we take that and help another life through our experience, through our stories of healing.
All day long.
All day, every day. So everyone that's tuning in, you can catch our recap video on YouTube channel. You also now, special news, or I guess you could say news drop, hashtag Stories of Healing podcast is now on Spotify and is now on Apple iTunes podcast. So if you missed out on this live feed, you can check out the recap videos on the Team A YouTube channel. You also can search hashtag Stories of Healing podcast on Spotify and Apple iTunes. And you know what? Listening in, I believe that just listening to an episode and listening to people that are coming on to share their story is going to bring healing and insight. And when I believe that if someone listens to anyone's story that comes on, your story, Amanda, in the future guests that come on, I believe that they will have a feeling inside that they want to go reach out to somebody in their life and spread some love and some healing. May they have a story to share. So this is all about connection. This is all about sharing. This is all about healing. It's all about resilience. So everyone, welcome and thank you. Tune in weekly, and we will see you next week. Thank you, Amanda.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Jake. It's been amazing.
You have a good night.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.